trust. It's the most important foundation upon which any workplace functions. Increased trust means increased levels of empowerment. Empowerment leads to faster decisions and faster action. Increased trust leads to higher employee engagement. Higher employee engagement means employees are going to put in more discretionary effort, so you get more for the same number of resources. These are both great things and in turn drive better and faster results. So as a leader, the question I have to ask is, where can I get more of this trust stuff? All right, I'm Jeff LaSalle, I'm your leadership coach, and today I'm going to reveal 3 most important tips for increasing trust that you can put in place today. Before I do that though, if you would be so kind to go down and hit the subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it, and then you wouldn't miss any future videos. So let's start off with, what is this organizational trust thing anyway? So trust is really the level of confidence that the workforce has in the reliability and predictability as to how management is going to behave and act in a given set of circumstances. So this is a little bit different than individual trust. Individual trust is really just, do I trust how you're going to respond in a certain set of circumstances? Organizational trust, though the I's and you's are plural, so it's how does this collective group of employees believe you are going to act? Do they believe that management, this arbitrary collection of people that they refer to as management or the company, do they reliably and predictably feel how management's going to behave in a certain set of circumstances? That's organizational trust, and that's what we want to get to. So if workers can reliably predict how their manager will act in a given situation, then they're going to feel more empowered to take action. They're not going to wait for the manager to tell them what they already know is going to be the response. Again, this is how high is that reliability and predictability of the manager's response in a given situation. So they're going to take action. This increases the speed of action, and it really drives results. When people feel empowered, they're also going to feel more engaged, and that means more discretionary effort going into the work. If the organizational trust relies on predictability of a manager's behavior, then this is clear. The first tip, and most important tip, to improving trust is that we must be consistent in our behavior. Our walk and talk need to align. They need to align perfectly. If there's a discrepancy between the two, or we screw up and fail even once to act as we preach, we've done tremendous damage to trust. So we've got to be very cognizant of what's going on and make sure that we're walking the talk, because any screw up is going to get noticed. And as a leader, if you think there's a time that nobody's watching you, guess again, you're always being watched, and everything you do is being noticed. An example of this would be ensuring that you don't walk past something that should get addressed. For example, there's a group of employees, they're not wearing their personal protective equipment. Are you walking past that and not addressing it? If so, you've just given full license for everybody to behave the same way, for everybody to not wear their personal protective equipment. This is what's called silent consent. You might not even have meant to send that signal. You might not even have noticed that those employees weren't wearing their proper protective equipment. That doesn't matter. People don't know that you didn't notice. People only know that you walked past and you didn't address it. That's silent consent. That's inconsistency between your walk and your talk, and that just eroded trust. So you absolutely have to be mentally present all the time in order to drive this sort of consistency. Now, tip 2 is to demonstrate that you respect everyone's input. And to do this, you need to learn to really listen to people. In fact, you need to listen empathetically when people are talking to you. This goes far beyond just simple active listening. We've all been told, give full attention. You need to give your full body attention, use the eye contact, Avoid all the distractions going on. Put down your cell phone. Don't finish typing that email. Don't listen halfway to the other conversation that's going on. Give your full attention to the speaker. Yes, this is all very important, but it doesn't go far enough. Why doesn't it go far enough? Well, it doesn't go far enough because we are still interpreting what they're saying through our own filters. We are still sitting there just waiting for our chance to respond. This isn't really listening to understand. You need to go a step further. And doing so is going to build trust and show tremendous respect. So what's that step further? It's called empathetic listening. And empathetic listening is really allowing the speaker to paint the picture that is their picture. They need to fill in all the corners. They need to paint all of the aspects of the picture. You should not be interpreting that picture through your knowledge, your opinions, your experiences. You need to put yourself into their shoes and really try to understand their perspective. Now, if as they're painting this painting, there's a corner that isn't clear and you don't understand, don't fill it in. Ask questions. Have them fill in that corner with the colors and shading that they want to use to convey their message. So during this whole process, you're only talking about one painting, and it's their painting. You're not painting the picture for them. And this is so important, because in active listening, you're just sitting there waiting to respond, and you're filling in the picture for them based on your experiences, and you're going to jump in and respond. You've completely missed the point. With empathetic listening, you're letting them paint the picture, you're really understanding their perspective, and this is going to lead you to a much better place in terms of understanding what they're trying to tell you. And it gives you excellent data for preparing a response to whatever the issue is that is coming up that they're concerned about. The other thing that this really does, this empathetic listening, is it's very clear that you've heard the person when you repeat back to them how they feel and what their perspective is, and you describe the painting as they painted it back to them. Now they know you heard them. This is really going to build trust between the two of you. And again, it also gives you the best data for figuring out how to move forward. So that's number 2, is really that empathetic listening. Tip number 3 is really being transparent as much as you possibly can be. And as you make decisions or as you respond to employees' concerns, you need to explain the why behind your opinion, your decision, or your action. If you can explain the why, this is really going to help with the trust level. You have to remember that your employees don't have the same set of information you have. They don't have the same reports that you have. They don't have the same data that you have. They aren't under the same pressures from upper management that you are. They don't have those other inputs that you have. Of course, at the same time, you need to make sure you have all of their inputs, and that was where the empathetic listening came in. But now, as you've made your decision, you need to be able to explain why. You need to bring in these other factors into your explanation and really communicate with them the why of what you're doing. This will really help, again, build the trust. So there you have it. Those are the 3 things. Number 1, you need to be the consistent role model, and your behavior needs to be fully in line with your stated priorities. Number 2, you need to show respect to individuals and really listen empathetically to do that. And then 3rd, you've got to explain the why behind all of your decisions and actions as much as you can. There you go. Again, I'm Jeff LaSalle. I'm your leadership coach. If you would be so kind to hit the like and the subscribe button down below, we'd really appreciate it, and then you wouldn't miss any future videos.